What's going on, guys? Jackal here, coming back at you with another deck profile. Back on my boy Victor. Um, I had taken him to my local ProQuest. Didn't do so hot. Was actually probably the worst I've done at a bigger event. But I think that was more because I didn't have reps on Victor. I'd been playing Verdants. So I went kind of back into the lab and started playing and really testing out Victor. I saw a couple of the tops, saw what their lists were doing, and kind of shaped around what I think their lists were doing best and kind of what I like to play Victor as. I love Victor as a inherently tempo guardian. I think he's very strong for that. And can still block very well due to his ability to generate gold off of the block and draw a card. Gonna go through some of the deck choices and everything, and then we'll get into the matchups. But I did end up going 6-0 over 2 tournaments, basically both my weekly armories. I ended up taking this build to and doing really well with. The matchups, I do gotta say, were very interesting. A lot of them we'll talk about. But yeah, very, very interesting matchups. I do think Victor is very slanted, and they slanted very well into this format currently. When Omens comes out, we'll see. But historically, he's probably best against a lot of the aggro-y type decks. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the 80. I'm playing Arcanite Skullcap. I know a lot of people are playing Balance. I don't own Balance, and Arcanite Skullcap is an extra 4 life. You could play Crown of Providence if you're worried about your arsenal, but this deck is designed to block. So very rarely do I fear my arsenal ever being taken away from me. I like the Arcanite Skullcap right now, mainly for Acilio plays, as well as the No Room 3 package down here. Arm Aegis is your go-to shield. Crown of Dominion, I actually think this was like the default helmet. I don't ever think I played Skullcap. I think I just played Crown in every slot. This is the biggest change, was I added Tunic back, because we're primarily going back into a pummel focused build. You're gaining tempo by doing large spikes now, and you want as much disruption in those as possible, and Tunic makes that math just a lot better. Iron Fist Revelation, my personal thought process is this is the best in slot gloves for Guardian right now. It's when this defends, you may turn a face down, a card in your arsenal face down, crush, and give it +1. The +1 doesn't fade or anything; it just stays there. It's a temper 2 glove, so you can get +2 out of it while blocking a total of 3. I think these gloves are inherently strong. If you have a dagger meta come back, then maybe the other gloves would be better. But right now, I think Iron Fist just inherently is really good. It makes your blues like on rate. It makes your reds above rate. It's just super strong. Quick dodge flexors. I really enjoyed these boots for a long time. I didn't think they were necessary. Starting to learn that they definitely are. These quick dodge folks, it's not into every matchup. I think you can do budget boots into some matchups, but like Marionette, like you really want your quick dodge. Syndra, you really want your quick dodge. Pretty much the longer chains, you need quick dodge to cover up those extra points of damage and cover up the on hits. And then last but not least, Titan's Fist, just because you have, I mean, KO is gone, but you still have like things like Mila X Reinhardt, you have the the Victor mirrors you have there. I mean, there's a bunch of Guardians running around and high power stuff that you don't always want to take Millers into. So Titan Assist is there for those matchups, and of course Millers being there for the matchups you can win your clashes on. Really funny story about Millers. Failed a clash against Marionette. Didn't think about it. Failed a clash with a block on my previous turn. Didn't think about it. Swung Millers. Cards hadn't changed, so he just let Millers hit and like neg itself, and I'm like, oh my god. So yeah, that's something you do gotta watch out for Millers. If you fail a clash, don't cycle your deck at least before you send it. Otherwise, they're just gonna let it hit, and you're gonna neg one for the game. And then down in the 80, we're playing the Red Boulder dropped at 3, 2 choke slams at 2 red choke slams. I think this is really good. This helps a lot of the spike turns from like Marionette and just anything that goes like really big and really tall. Command and Conquer, E-Strike, Erase Face. I think Erase Face is big in this format with Dio running around. It also hurt the Earth Heroes. Earth Heroes not as prevalent, but it does a lot in this format, and also it's another 2 for 6 pummel, similar to CNC. So it's adding somewhat disruption with hand disruption. So really good. Spinal, red Spinal's at 3, Test of Iron Grip at 3, Test of Strength at 3, Trounce is at 2. I like this card still. I just don't think I would be playing it at 3, and I would definitely be pitching it early into most matchups, just to get rid of your misses, right? Your second cycle Trounces will be like super hot, and you'll not nearly miss as much and fail them with all the blocks in your deck still. Clash of Bravado at 1, it's a good on hit destroy, or on clash destroy ponder, destroy. There's several things it can niche into. Primarily I use it for the Vincent matchup, like being able to clear their runic tokens for their next turn. Riches of Tropaldani. This is a really good card. You literally feel like cheating when you play this card a lot of the time. We joke that when you pitch this into gold, it's literally just a pot of greed from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because you get to draw 2, the gold goes nowhere, and yeah, so very good card. Golden Sun, one of Victor's inherent tempo pieces. He is a fatiguey deck, but has built-in tempo pieces, so you can lean into the tempo if you need to. You can lean into the fatigue if you need to. This being able to buff itself to 10 and give itself overpower by dropping a gold is nuts. Also winning clashes by revealing this grants you gold, which is huge because it gets you a card and an extra gold off of the clash. So usually you're clashing with a gold card anyway, so that's 2 gold and the Golden Sun. Chokeslam Blues, Cranial Crush Blues, Debilitate Blues, Disable Blues, Macho Grande Blues, Right Behind You Blues. This is a newer pickup for Victor. I've talked about it in past lists, but I think especially with how oriented we are with finding our estates, like this card becomes a lot better. But the biggest set card would be Ripple Away. I think Ripple Away is just inherently strong in this format, being able to stop a lot of Vincent plays when they try to make the rune chance, or if the Marionette is able to try to Graphene Chelicera, you could pitch this and then they lose that token, so they don't get their dagger, which will really like ruin a lot of their turns. So Ripple is just a really strong tech card, and I think as a Guardian, like who is you're primarily playing a blue base, like it's really good to play. Victor is gold minus 3 at 3. This is just key core piece. We're back to Thunk. We're no longer doing. I was on Thunk and Wallop for a while. That just a Thunk. I would rather just have the Might right now. I have this deck set up to where I'm not really ever in need of that extra vigor, and if I do, I can usually get it off trounce. Thunderquake is, I actually used it for Thieves a couple times. It's really good. It sets up some nutty turns. I was able to, at one point, swing an E-Strike into a Spinal because turn before I sent Hammer and heaved Thunderquake, so super strong there. Midas Touch would be for your Gravy matchups and your Prism matchups. Just being able to recycle this with some Remembrance and keeping the minions low, or also just racing them and keeping minions low is a big thing. And then I play double Remembrance because we have a lot of fatigue at our shop, and Victor Goldman Estate cycling Victor's Goldman Estate multiple times is just a surefire way to win those matchups. Gravekeeping is coming into the format, and if that becomes too much of an issue, then maybe we'll look at some type of different play. We'll move maybe one of the Remembrances, or maybe remove the Remembrance package, but for now, Gravekeeping isn't terribly overplayed, so we don't have to worry about it. And you can still win without most of your matchups. You can win without Goldmane Estate. You just heavily benefit off of the Might Pump. But that's the 80 tokens down here being Gold, Might, Seismic Vigor. But yeah, that's the 80. If we go into matchups, I ended up having, as I said, I went 6 rounds, 3 rounds each, different armories. Monday's Armory over at Clovis Cards and Comics. Love both of these shops to death that I'm going to be talking about. Love the community down here in Fresno a lot in general. We're all really tight-knit. Everyone plays. Everyone's having fun. It's competitive, but not in a sweaty way. We're all trying to make sure we're better players. So, super fun. Round 1 was into my brother KO. This was over at Clovis Cards and Comics. So KO into Victor. Oh no, he was not on KO. This was after KO ban. But my brother switched over to Tough Nut. That's right. So round 1, he was on Tough Nut. I've been so used to him just playing KO forever. I automatically see his name and assume it's KO. But no, he's been on Tough Nut. Deck's good. I don't think Tough Nut's bad. I think it's just not fully figured out yet. But if it does the thing it wants to do, if it's able to swing around set 6 into the rock, then you're doing your thing, 6-7, right? Like, you're doing what you want to do. It wasn't like a blowout of a game or anything. I think I ended up getting down to like 3, and then I killed him off of a golden sun. Round 2 was into a buddy of mine, Koi. Dude's a very good Vin player. I don't know if I should have won this one. I don't know how it would have worked out, honestly. But I felt like I was just getting barraged. We were kind of trading for a little bit, and then I just started getting barraged down and doing very little back. And it's like he was going like 3 chain link wides, all of them were on 9, and it just got very nasty. But then his deck just goes, or he does his turn, or I do my turn, he blocks, gets to his turn, he looks at me, looks at his hand, he arsenals and passes, and I'm like, okay, alright, bad hands, it happens. I'm back up to tempo now, I'm swinging 9s. I've got a pommel parked in arsenal. Doing pretty good, as long as I can stay on tempo. And so I just started swinging like 9s and 8s and 9s and 8s and 10s, and basically ended up fatiguing him through damage because he He lost if he didn't respect the pummel, and if he respected the pummel, he lost to the deck out. Um, but it's just very unfortunate because like he was on a tear. Like the life totals were like starting to gap, and then his deck just nope. But I do hear Vin does have that issue sometimes, as it can just brick itself. Um, but it was very like that was a tougher matchup for me. I've got to admit, Vincent was a very interesting. Like I mean, split damage is always interesting math to have to figure out. But we did get it. Then we went into my buddy Andy. He's one of the Swing Lethal boys. Very good. I think, and I made the flub of saying I don't think this match is as favored into Victor as you think to him, and that's completely wrong. I think Victor's very favored into Cinder matchups. I just don't think the way he plays Victor is favored into Cinder matchups. He has a very nice, like, interesting, like coat the blade list where he's just trying to go a set amount of length to get his daggers back, and he's flicking you every turn. I died by flick. I like I took over 30 flick damage throughout the game. I was dying straight to the flick damage. But being able to send the Test of Iron grips and get really good pummels and send this list is very good at racing. This list can send a really good amount of damage, and most of the time it has always disruption attached to it. So we ended up taking Clovis Cards and Comics 3.0 there. And then Wednesday night we headed over to Ender's Games. Another lovely shop, love that shop to death. That was one of our big parties we were playing to wish one of our community members well. He is moving on to Missouri, and that's going to be dope for him. I hear the community up there is really strong and bolstering, so stoked for that. Round one, we natural got the family curse. I paired it with my sister this time. She was on Marlin. I gotta say, Marlin is a scary deck if you don't have D-Reacts and blocks. Fortunately, Victor has D-Reacts and blocks. So I was able to do a lot of the cover up and send, and I was able to out trade, and then basically just make a lot of her arrows not worth the value, I guess would be the best way to play it. So I ended up getting that one pretty outright. I don't think Marlin is a deck that likes to run into anything that blocks a lot. It's just not her favorite thing. Round two was into my buddy Alex in his Marionette. He's been championing Marionette since it came out. I often will, if you have gone back, I will be often praising his Marionette. He's one of the few players I sit down into and know it's going to be like just one of like the actual games I have to grind out and make sure all of my decisions are on point. And then round three was Goliath, and it was a super fun game. It was the Goldmain brothers into each other, so that's sick. And then the Goldmain brothers into each other. I just decided I was gonna be racing him early on. I knew he was on bonk build, and I'm not sorry about that. My neighbors decided they wanted to play music. I knew he was playing like basically just like the go for the throat build where you're sending hammer for as big as possible every 2 turns. And as I said, this deck is very, very well defined into sending damage back, especially given the room. So I would just a lot of the time, like I think my turn structure went spinal, or I went second, and my turn structure was like spinal with the pummel, into chokeslam, into Goldmain Estate, CNC, into Spinal, into Golden Sun, into my last Spinal, into another Golden Sun, and then Grande for game. So it's just like an immense amount of pressure the entire time. And he was having to give pretty much his whole hand every time to the onslaught of attacks and still suffer the disruption. But it was very fun to see the Goldman brothers fight each other. But yeah, loved Victor. I'll probably be in the lab with him more. He'll probably be one of my main decks this season. I'm going to be enjoying him and Dio a lot. Losing Verdance made me really open my eyes that I want to enjoy the heroes I have and have the time on them I have. So you'll see a lot more Victor and a lot more of Dash.io soon. So yeah, anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and y'all have a good day. Later.